It's 2023 and Spotify and Apple Music have changed a lot since we last compared them in 2020. I've spent the past 6 months comparing both of these music services, so I'll break down for you what really differentiates them, and ultimately I'll tell you which one I think most people should subscribe to. First, let's look at Spotify and its advantages. The first advantage Spotify has over Apple Music is personalization. Spotify in general has a better recommendation algorithm that is able to discern different listening modes and tastes in a way that Apple Music does not. Spotify has way more personalized playlists, including daily mixes, a Discover mix, genre, decade, and mood mixes that are all customized to you and your listening history. Spotify also has a feature that enhances the playlist you built with new tracks that it thinks will fit into the playlist, and you can also exclude certain playlists from Spotify's algorithms. The next advantage Spotify has over Apple Music related to personalization is its new DJ feature.
Hey, what's going on? I'm your DJ X. Hope you're feeling good. I know what you listen to. I see the weekend.
Spotify rolled this feature out in 2023, and it uses an AI voice plus your Spotify listening history and all of the great recommendation tech Spotify has to give you your own personal DJ. It plays the music Spotify knows you like, and then it'll reach back into your music listening history and play some of your old favorites, and then it'll mix in new music that Spotify thinks you will like. It's a great tool for background listening throughout the workday. Now, the next advantage Spotify has over Apple Music is network effects. Spotify has the largest user base out of any music service, so it's more likely that's what your friends and family are listening to, which can make sharing music and creating playlists together much easier. And at the end of the year, you'll get the coveted Spotify Wrapped, a celebration of the year gone by that shows you your top artists and the things you listen to that you can easily share with friends and family. It's so popular, in fact, Apple Music copied it and actually gives you a recap at the end of the year as well, though Apple makes their recap playlist available earlier in the year than Spotify does. The next advantage Spotify has over Apple Music is Spotify Connect. Spotify Connect allows you to control and listen to your music on different types of devices like computers, phones, smart TVs, speakers, and other devices. You can use your Spotify app on any device, including the Spotify web player, as a remote control. So say you ask Sonos voice control on your Era 100s to play some music. The big deal with this feature is after you've done that, you can now control the music from any device that's linked to your Spotify account. No other streaming service can match the ubiquity that you get with Spotify Connect because Spotify is just supported on so many different devices. Apple does have the Now Playing feature that will allow you to control Apple Music playing through other Apple devices in your home, but this feature only applies to Apple products. The next advantage Spotify has over Apple Music is its superior like system, which is what you use to help train Spotify's recommendation algorithms. In Spotify, the heart icon is more prominent in its UI to help train the algorithms, and when you like a song, not only is it automatically added to your library, but also automatically added to a liked songs playlist, which Apple doesn't have. In Apple Music, the action of liking a song by giving it a heart and adding it to your library are separate actions. The last advantage Spotify has over Apple Music, which I hinted at earlier, is the sheer number of devices that support Spotify compared to Apple Music, like Amazon speakers, gaming consoles, cars, and many other devices. So that's Spotify's advantages. Now let's look at Apple Music's. The first advantage Apple Music has is higher quality music streaming and Dolby Atmos support. Apple Music has a 75 million song catalog available in lossless audio at no additional cost. Apple uses their own codec, Apple Lossless Audio Codec, to preserve every single bit of the original audio file. It starts at CD quality, which is 16-bit, 44.1 kHz, and goes up to 24-bit, 48 kHz. They also offer high-resolution lossless all the way up to 24-bit, 192 kHz, but you'll need a DAC to experience that version. Spotify is rumored to finally be actually launching their HiFi tier support sometime this year, maybe. I mean, we'll see. It's been like 2 years since they announced HiFi and it still hasn't rolled out yet, so who the hell knows when this thing's actually going to roll out. Though, it is important to mention though, so far with this new, better, more expensive tier for Spotify, there has been no mention of Dolby Atmos support. And this is the point in the video where I tell you Dolby Atmos on headphones and earbuds is mainly a gimmick that doesn't really make a difference. But I can't say that anymore. Recent Atmos mixes have actually gotten pretty good when I listen to them on my AirPods Max, for example, which I've reviewed. And Atmos music just sounds incredible on Sonos's newest speaker, the Sonos Era 300, which was designed from the ground up for spatial audio, and I'll have a review coming out on that soon. Atmos just adds this extra layer of immersion to the music you listen to, and paired with the Era 300, it can make it sound like the artist is in the room with you. That extra level of immersion, for me at least, I found it makes me more tied to the music I'm listening to and more emotionally moved by it. Now, the next advantage of Apple Music is iTunes. Remember iTunes? It dominated the music industry for a decade plus. It's like everyone forgot about it. Well, that good old tried and true iTunes interface that allows you to meticulously manage your library and local music still exists within Apple Music on Apple's devices, and it gives you a ton of options compared to Spotify, like iTunes Match, which is a subscription that allows you to match all of the content you ripped from CDs and other sources with Apple Music's library of songs. Once iTunes has matched your music, it'll make that music available on all of your Apple devices. Though it's important to note that while Spotify doesn't have a CD ripping feature in their app, there are third-party tools out there that does make this possible. But Spotify has no cloud library. You can only upload files for local playback, unlike Apple Music with its iCloud Music library. Apple Music also lets you purchase music through iTunes as well, though not in lossless quality or Dolby Atmos, and Spotify offers no purchasing option at all. The next advantage Apple Music has is radio stations, and unlike most modern music streaming services where a radio station is actually just an algorithmically generated playlist based off a song or an artist that you select, Apple Music's radio feature is actually old school radio. It's human curated music with DJs and hosts. It's actually a pretty unique feature with several stations like Apple Music One, Apple Music Hits, and Apple Music Country. On each of these stations are several shows like The Zane Lowe Show, where he gets exclusive interviews with some of the biggest artists in music, and other shows like Rocket Hour, hosted by Sir Elton John, who plays some of his favorite artists in music today, from the past, and has exclusive interviews. Because Apple Music's recommendation engine, in my experience, has just not been very good, I've actually found the radio feature to be a great way to get exposure to new artists and music that I normally would not have been exposed to otherwise. Apple Music's next advantage is Apple Music Sing. This feature automatically takes the vocals out of supported tracks and makes use of Apple Music's real-time lyrics feature to give you an on-demand karaoke experience. And later this year, it'll support continuity camera, so you can see you and your friends on screen as you sing along to your favorite tracks. Apple Music Sing is an Apple Music feature that perfectly demonstrates how you get benefits using Apple Music within the Apple ecosystem, which itself is a benefit of using Apple Music. You'll soon be able to listen to a playlist with family and friends and collaborate on that playlist, share play music to your car with Apple CarPlay so everyone in the car can choose what's playing, and users will be able to control music from their own devices even if they don't have an Apple Music subscription. Another advantage Apple Music has is when you subscribe to Apple Music, you now get Apple Music Classical, a companion app that boasts 5 million tracks, the world's largest classical music catalog according to Apple. I've actually used it quite a bit over the past 6 months. I've been a fan of movie soundtrack orchestral music for years, which you can find in the app, but Apple also has some great intro to classical music history podcasts as well. These introduce you to the different sounds and composers in the different eras of classical music. It's a great way for someone to get started listening to classical and figure out what part of classical they like. The app has better built-in search for finding all of the recordings for a particular work, Plus, you'll find recordings of both lossless and high-res, as well as Dolby Atmos and spatial audio, which, especially for orchestral music in my experience, really brings classical music to life in a new way. Like John Williams' concert from Berlin. In Dolby Atmos with my Sonos Era 300, it sounds like I've just placed an orchestra right in my room. Now, Apple Music Classical is also another example of another advantage Apple Music has over Spotify, which is simplicity. Apple is not trying to bundle all of their audio products into a single mega app like Spotify is doing. Apple has separate tracks for audiobooks, podcasts, and music, where Spotify has converged podcasts, audiobooks, and music into the Spotify app, which I find can often feel a bit cluttered with its recommendations. So that's the advantages each service has over each other, but what about their similarities? Both have native Windows and Mac apps, and both have student plan bundles. With Spotify, you get Hulu bundled into your subscription here in the US, and with Apple Music, you'll of course get Apple TV Plus bundled in. Alright, now let's talk recommendations. For general music listening where you're fine relying on algorithms, Spotify is definitely the service I recommend. However, if you want higher quality music, Dolby Atmos support, Apple Music Classical, the ability to purchase music, or more finite control over your music library organization, Apple Music has carved out enough features that truly differentiate it from Spotify that'll make it a better choice for a subset of people out there. So that's my recommendation, and if you think I got it wrong, or you think I got it right, let me know down in the comments. And to see more information about all the products and speakers that you've seen here in this video, links down in the description for that so you can learn more about them. And consider giving this video a thumbs up if you liked it, found it helpful, and subscribe to the channel and our monthly newsletter to see more content on music streaming services, as well as comparisons between different music streaming services, and you can see more of those by clicking on the videos above. For 6 months later, I'm Josh Tedder. Thanks for watching.